Hey guys, Peter Chen here, recording another 500 Zoom video. I upload these videos every week, so if you enjoy it, please subscribe. On table 1, opening button with King 8 offsuit. We flop top pair. This is a flop where I want to be doing some big betting. Seems like a good hand to do it. On table 2, I open cutoff with King Queen suited. I'm going to be doing a lot of checking, and especially with this hand, I want to be checking. This might be our best possible hand to check. Other than that, maybe like pocket kings, pocket queens. And with the king, I think I always have to call. In practice, I think I'm actually not too happy about my call. I don't think the bluffs are hard to find here. I just think maybe people don't find them for the big bet and they just have an ace more often. Not sure about that though. On the river, always checking back. Okay, so Gary did find a good bluff. I'm glad my call wasn't just completely punting into a guy who always has an ace. On table 2, opening button with ace-king offsuit. I'm not really sure what I should do here with the ace-8. Might be a very tight fold. I think with ace-8, calling is pretty bad, but my hand might not be strong enough to raise. But obviously, I have no idea what to do in that situation. On table 2, going to 3-bet with pocket fives. On table 1, defending big blind versus button with ace-4 offsuit. Folding fives to the shove, and on table 1, I think I'm going to be always raising this hand. I think basically if I have ace-jack plus or ace-10 plus, I'm just always going to raise. On table 1, opening hijack with queen-jack's offsuit. On table 1, opening cutoff with pocket tens. On table 2 against the limp, going to check with 10-4. I think if I was able to bet smaller, I would want to bet this hand sometimes, but since there's only 2 big blinds in the pot, my hand's just too middle strength to be betting 1 big blind. Very good river for me. I'm just going to go 2x pot. On table 1, opening button with ace-king suited. On table 1, 3-betting king-jack offsuit, small blind versus button. On table 2, I think this is a good hand to go 3 ways with. Both of them won't have the low cards, so hands like these perform pretty well against an open and a caller. Going to keep checking. Against the bet, I think I want to raise sometimes, call sometimes. Going to go for a raise. And we face a re-raise from the 3rd guy in the pot. At this point, I think I'm just going to have to play very, very, very tight. Obviously, 6-3 isn't a great hand, but maybe even if I had 2 pair or something, could be folding that. On table 2, opening button with king-5 suited. On table 1, I could 3-bet this hand, I could call. Going to call. King-5, again, a hand I could either call or raise. I'm going to put in a raise and go a little bit bigger since we're so deep. On table 1, b6, I'm always going to be calling. A very good flop for me on table 2, pair and a flush draw. And we face a lead. I'm not folding this, obviously. Maybe I'm supposed to raise this sometimes. I have no idea. I think on the turn I'm still mostly calling. But again, I am completely lost in this spot. All I know is that folding is terrible. On table 1, 3-betting big blind versus button with ace-king suited. I have such a strong hand, but I don't know if shoving makes a lot of sense. So I can have ace jack, ace 10 with a club. Those are hands I want to shove. I can have some ace high flushes. I'm not sure what hands he takes this line with, where he goes donk and then bet the turn and then check. But I don't think it's ever an ace high flush. Very interesting hand. Table 2 opening with pocket tens. Table 1, I open small blind, bet small on the flop, and check the turn. And I think now my hand's strong enough to go for a bet. You don't get a lot of checkbacks from a king, and there's a few 2 pairs, but I should still be getting called by every 10 and some 9s. On table 2, I think I have a mixed decision on the flop. Maybe I should be betting more often than not, but I think checking performs well too. And now I'm going to go for 2 streets of value unless an overcard comes. With the 10, I'm going to be folding to a raise. On table 2, 3-betting cutoff versus hijack with ace-king suited. On table 1, opening small blind with 10-8 suited. I think I want to be mixing betting half pot and quarter pot on this flop. And on table 1, not sure what I should be doing. Just start with a check. And now with the 10, I'm going to start betting for value. I don't always have to fold this king jack, but also can't play it every time. On table 2, 8-7 suited, call sometimes, raise sometimes. I think I prefer to raise more when we're super deep. And on, Very terrible that I timed out with ace queen offsuit. Going to call 8-7 suited. It's a big 4-bet, but this hand is very good to call with. On table 1, 3-betting king queen suited, cutoff versus hijack. I'm going to check back with the 8-7. On table 1, going to be doing a lot of betting on this flop. And I'll call once with the 8-7. I hit the flush, but 3 aces. I'm going to call with the king, and the 8-7 seems very close. I think it's not too hard to find the bluff with like a king 10 offsuit, or not offsuit, but king 10 without the spades. But maybe I just need a better blocker to call, not sure. I'm going to call again with the king queen. Now I have 2 pair. Table 2, 3-betting jacks. Hijack against under the gun. And I'm going to fold to the 4-bet. On table 1, I don't think my hand is strong enough to raise. But also too strong to fold. On table 2, calling big blind versus small blind with jack 9 offsuit. And on the flop, I could check, I could bet. Going to bet this time. Table 1, opening button with pocket jacks. And with the jacks, both calling and 4-betting are good options. Table 2, opening hijack with ace 9 suited. And I'm going to be betting the jacks. Good board and good hand to be going a little bigger, but I don't know if I ever bet half pot. And obviously calling off. On table 2, we face a lead for 1 big blind, and I just raised big. On table 2, opening button with 10-7 suited. I'm going to be checking back. Could probably bet sometimes as well. And now big blind bets, which is the action and also his name. And I'm going to fold my 10 high. There is some extra EV in checking back the flop to make that joke. Definitely don't randomize that one. Just always check back. On table 2, opening button with Queen 8 suited. Table 1, opening small blind with King 2 suited. Table 2, going to be either betting or checking this. I think betting a little more often, but I'm going to check this time. And now betting the turn. On table 2, opening Jack 10 offsuit. It's going to be the bottom of my range. Maybe I'm not even supposed to be opening it. Table 2, calling big blind versus small blind with pocket 7s. We use our YouTube luck to flop middle set. And I'm going to be raising this. Just going to go for medium-sized raises here, I guess. No strong reason for my raise size. On table 2, opening button with ace 3 offsuit. On table 2, going to be defending big blind against hijack with Jack 6 suited. We flop fairly well. Ton of backdoor draws. And this is a turn where I'll be wanting to do a lot of betting and mostly for a small size. Table 1, going to 3-bet blind versus blind with king jack suited. On table 1, I'm going to call big blind versus cutoff with king 10 suited, and table 2, opening small blind with pocket fives. And with the king 10, going to put in a small bet. Table 2, opening cutoff with queen 10 offsuit. I'm just going to bet my range for small here. On table 1, calling big blind with 6-9 suited. Table 2, calling big blind with 3-2 suited against a small open. Against a check back, my hand is very, very weak. But I don't think I'm doing a lot of betting on this turn. So I'm just going to check again and bluff the river if I get there. But obviously folding to a bet. On table 1, opening cutoff with jack 7 suited. On table 1, opening button with ace 4 offsuit, and on table 2, calling big blind versus small blind with queen 3 suited. And I'll be calling again with the 3. I think I can fold the 3 now to a turn bet. On table 1, calling big blind versus button with ace 8 offsuit. Good hand to be betting now. On table 2, cutoff limped, I check the big blind. Maybe I should do some leading here, not sure. After check check, going to start betting. I have a flush now on table 1. Not going to be doing a lot of big betting, but I think my hand is definitely good enough to go for a big bet. On table 1, opening cutoff with King 10 suited. And table 2, 3-betting small blind versus button with Queen 10 suited. This is a flop I wanted to be doing a lot of betting on. I think it's reasonable to continue betting on the turn. I do have a lot of ace-x that I would rather bluff with, but I think I get to bet this hand sometimes, mostly checking. And I'll be calling this bet, folding to a river bet. I think my queen is not very good, even on the turn. The value of my hand mostly comes from having the draw with it. But I'm going to fold this and end the video here. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.